Okay, good evening, everyone. So today we are going to discuss uh, the ISLM model, and our, in the first part, we are going to focus on the IS and LM curve separately. The reason is we want to see how parametric changes leads to shifts in the IS or LM curve. So in the first part, we will look at the LM curve because that was what we were considering, and see what are the reasons why, what are the factors which can lead to a shift in the LM curve. Oh, I'm so stupid that I've forgotten to attach the. Okay. Now, the LM curve is, if you look at the LM curve, that represents the equilibrium in the money market. So, on one side, we have the demand for money, and on the other hand side, we have the supply for money, MD equal to MS. So, obviously, the most important factor which can lead to a shift in the LM curve is the money supply. Okay. Sorry, just 1 minute, please. Okay. So, first, let us just go back and see how the LM curve was derived. We had used a four quadrant diagram when we derived the LM curve, but the intuition underlying the LM curve, derivation of the LM curve, can also be understood by directly looking into the demand supply equation. So let us say that we have a demand curve and demand curve for money, and remember that MD is equal to, well, I mean, if we want, we can write this as MD is equal to Ly by R. Uh, Sorry, over here I've made a mistake. This should be, so this is the M and this is R. So we don't have Y over here. That means when we are drawing a money demand function, uh, just hold on for a minute. I have to change my pen. Okay. So that means when we are drawing this money demand function, we are drawing this for a particular value of 1. So we set No, there's not a matter. Pen. Okay. So we take a particular level of y, let us say y1, and derive the money demand function money demand as a function of the rate of interest. Okay. So over here, money demand is a function of the rate of interest, and we have set y equal to y1. It's not very clear, but I hope you can understand. Okay. So that means if you take a different value of y of income, we will have a different different liquidity or money demand curve. Now let's introduce the money supply curve, and we know that it is a constant. So we have a money demand curve over here. Why is it writing like this? Okay. So this is the, I don't know, just, sorry, I'll just try closing this and coming back. So we set y equal to y1 and generate a money demand function with money demand is equal to rate of interest. Okay. So we have R and this is N. So this is the money supply function and this is the money demand function derived for y1. So we can see over here that the rate of interest is given by, let us say, R1. So that means we are getting a combination of y1 and r1 which will ensure that the money market is in equilibrium. When the supply of money is equal to M1 by S. Okay. So next what we do is, suppose, if you want to derive the LM curve, what we can do is we can set y equal to y2, and in that case, how will the liquidity demand function or money demand function change? So you're drawing the money demand function not for y1 but for y2 when y2 is higher than y1. What is the matter with you?
It's a parallel shift
Hmm?
outwards. Sir, increase in demand.
Yeah. So what will happen is that there will be an outward shift in the money demand function. For a particular rate of interest, y has gone up. So the money demand function is going to be at a higher level. Okay. So now we can draw the curve over here. So now y2 and r2 will ensure that the money market is in equilibrium. Okay. So in this way, we can derive different combinations of y and r, which will keep the money market in equilibrium. Now, suppose the money supply changes. The money supply increases to this. Okay, so this uh, we are considering the case when income is y1. So if there's an increase in money supply, right? See, this was the initial rate of interest. Now, this is the money demand function at R1. And what is the supply? This is the supply. So, this is the excess demand or excess supply.
Excess supply.
Supply.
So, this is the excess supply for money. Okay. Now, if you have excess supply of money, you can see very clearly from the diagram that the rate of interest must decline. This has to be the new rate of interest. I'm just. But the question is that why? What is the intuition? Why will the rate of interest fall? Can anyone answer my question?
Sir, there is excess demand for bonds.
Why? Your money supply has gone up.
The people with this excess money at this higher interest will try to invest in bonds. So bonds will go up.
Okay. So in this situation, what we have is, if we have excess supply of money, that means we don't want to keep money, but there's money in our hands. So as Arun said, rightly said, we will want to invest this excess supply in the bond market. Okay. So that means in the bond market, what do we have? Excess demand or excess supply? We want to
Excess
purchase
demand.
bond. Yeah.
More demand.
So we will have excess demand for bonds. So if you have excess demand in any market, what will happen to price?
It will go up. It will go up. Yeah.
Price of bonds will increase. Now we know that R is rate of interest
Is
is
inverse
inversely
related. So R
related
will
to
decrease.
price of bonds. So R will fall. So this is the logic underlying the decline in rate of interest. Okay, and what is the logic? What will happen if the government decides to introduce a contractionary policy? So money supply is reduced.
Interest rates will go up.
Yeah, but again, what's the logic?
So people want more money, so they will sell off their
Invest.
bonds.
Yeah,
They will
As a
invest less in
there is
bonds.
excess supply in the bond market, therefore price will go down and rates of interest will go up.
okay. So what we are seeing over here is that if money supply is increased, for each level of y, the rate of interest at which the money market is at equilibrium will be higher. Okay,
স্যার
so that means if it, yes,
স্যার আমরা কি বলতে পারি যে যেহেতু মানি সাপ্লাইটা বাড়ছে তাই জন্য ইকোনমিতে একটা জেনারেল প্রাইস লেভেলের রাইজ হচ্ছে, তো বন্ড প্রাইসেস রাইজ করছে, এবার ওইটার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে আর কি ইন্টারেস্ট রেট নামছে।
কিন্তু আমরা তো কেনশিয়ান মডেলের প্রাইসটাকে কনস্ট্যান্ট ধরি।
আচ্ছা, তাহলে তাহলে এটা মানিটারি পলিসির জন্য মানি সাপ্লাই রাইজ করছে না।
না, এটা তো প্রাইস অফ বন্ডসটা বাড়ছে।
হ্যাঁ, সেটাই বলছি।
এর সঙ্গে ইনফ্লেশনের কোনো সম্পর্ক নেই।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
Okay. So what we are seeing is that for every level of y, the LM curve will be higher. sorry, এটা তো এরকম হবে. So suppose this is the LM curve. This is for the first level of money supply. When money supply goes up for the same level of Y, the rate of interest will be lower. Okay, so this is R1, this is R2, and Y is same. Okay. So changes in the money supply will lead to shifts in the LM curve. If there's an increase in money supply, the LM curve will shift downwards. If there's a decrease in money supply, the LM curve will shift upwards. Okay. Now, the question is that is there any other way by uh, which can lead to a shift in the LM curve? Keynes argued that the LM curve can also shift if there is a change in liquidity preference. Okay. So what is a change in the liquidity preference? Uh, it basically means, sorry, that if you looking at the money demand, money supply, so this is rate of interest and this is money demand. So this was the money demand. It means that for the same Y and same R, your demand curve, the demand for money is shifting outwards. So given everything same, you simply want to hold more money than before. It can occur because of two reasons. One is that the key in the transactions demand component has increased, or the second component, the liquidity preference, that changes. So for either reason, we can have a shift in the money demand function. So that means I'm writing this as L1 R and Y1, and this is L2 R. This is again Y1. Okay. So if there's the constant money supply, okay. So this was the initial rate of interest R1, and at this rate of interest, we can see that there's a excess demand for money. So if there's an excess demand for money, this will imply that in the bond market, you have excess supply. So price of bonds will decrease and rate of interest will rise to R2. Okay. So remember that the LM curve can shift not only if there's a change in the money supply, that is on the supply side, but also because there can be changes in the money demand part, in the parameters influencing the money demand.
Sir, can you show the previous slide once?
This one.
Yes, sir.
স্যার এর আগেরটা আরেকবার দেখাতে পারবে?
আচ্ছা, এটা দেখিয়ে নি তাহলে, তারপর আমি দেখাচ্ছি।
Sir, if there is a change in K, that is the transaction is constant, sir, will there not be a change in the slope of LM curve, or will there be a shift?
I didn't get your question. I mean, your voice didn't come out clearly. Can you speak a little bit slowly?
Sir, the transaction demand is KY.
The
So
transactions demand is KY.
So if K changes, will there be a shift of LM curve, or will the slope of LM curve change?
Yeah, see, what I've simply done is I've assumed that the parameters of the demand curve changes. I've not looked at the parameter. I've just drawn two curves. What is, you're correct. What can happen is if K changes, uh, you may have a rotation, while a change in the LR part will lead to a parallel shift. But at this point, I'm not really concerned in what changes the liquidity preferences. I'm simply saying that liquidity preference changes for some reason. Given everything, we want to hold on to more money. So this will lead to the demand curve moving out upwards. It can be rotation, it can be a parallel shift, whatever.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now if we come back to the, if we club together the ISLM model, okay. So I want to focus on the LM curve initially. See, it's very clear that this is the equilibrium. But if you are at a point like this, above the LM curve, then uh, is it an excess demand or excess supply?
Sir, pardon.
What I'm saying is that the intersection of the demand and supply curve gives the equilibrium, rate of interest and income. ঠিক আছে? এই যে point, this point gives the equilibrium, rate of interest over here and y over here. That is very clear. But suppose we are at some point over here.
Sir, excess supply.
Excess supply of what? Remember, we have two commodities. We have a commodity market and we also have a money market.
So we will have excess supply of money.
Money market above the equilibrium.
So we have excess supply of money if we are above the LM curve. Why? Why do you know that it's uh, excess supply of money? Why not excess demand for money?
Sir, for the same Y, we will compare the R. As the rate of interest is higher, it means the demand for money is low.
Okay. And by this, going by the same logic, if we are below the LM curve, we have excess demand for money. Okay. Now, if you have excess demand supply of money, see in the money market, Y is given. You can change only the rate of interest. In the commodity market, rate of interest is given. You can change the national income, Y only. So if you have excess supply of money, how can you come back to equilibrium in the money market? If you have excess supply of money, that means you will park the money in bonds, bond price will fall. Sorry, you will want to purchase bonds, so bond prices will go up, rate of interest will fall.
Fall. Yes.
So R must fall. And if you have excess demand for money, then by the same logic, as we saw in the earlier slides, R must rise. Okay. So if we consider a point, like let us call this A, B, C, and D. So above the LM curve, we have excess supply in the money market. And here we have okay. So this implies that R should fall, and this implies R should rise. Okay. Now, if we consider the points below the IS curve, so that means for the same rate of interest, your income is, let us say, below the equilibrium level. In that case, what will happen? Are you in excess demand or excess supply? So that means you're at point A and D. If you are below the IS curve, then Remember, Y is the supply. Yes?
Zoom the slide a bit.
Can you type it? Type it, please.
Sir, could you please zoom the slide a bit? Like make it a bit bigger.
No. হচ্ছে না গো।
Sir, for the case of the LM curve, we were seeing whether there is
আচ্ছা, এক মিনিট
excess.
দাঁড়াও তো, এটা যদি করতে পারি। এটা better? No, I think it's worse. হ্যাঁ, sorry. What were you saying?
মানে স্যার এলএম কার্ভের সময় আমরা দেখছিলাম whether there is excess demand or supply for money. এটা তো
Yes.
মানে প্রোডাক্ট মার্কেট, তো এটার কোন
এবার
জিনিস?
এটা product market. Yeah, you're right. So we are looking at the IS curve. So if we are at point A and B, sorry, if we are at point A and B, we are below the IS curve, এই জোনটা। Okay.
Sir, which means that there is excess supply of goods.
আচ্ছা, if you are below the IS curve, let us say somewhere over here. Okay, so the rate of interest is like this, your income is this, and this is the income at which the market will clear. Now, what is Y? At this point, we have excess demand, and if we are sorry, yes. Above the IS curve, we will have excess supply in the commodity market. See, if we are over here, what is the equilibrium amount that we require? This one. See, if we take a point like this, the equilibrium Y is this much. But how much are you supplying? Remember, Y is supply. So people
Sir,
want this much, you are supplying this much. Anywhere. As long as it is above the or to the right hand side of the IS curve. People are demanding this much. So the market will clear at this much, but you're supplying this amount. So this is the amount of excess supply. On the other hand, if you have like this, what does it mean? People want this much. If the rate of interest is this, people want this much for market clearing, but you're supplying only this much. So that means if we are at this portion below the IS curve, we are going to have excess demand. there will be a shortfall or deficit income. But if we are above the IS curve, we are going to have excess supply in the commodity market. Okay, so that means what will happen is, if we have excess demand, then Y should fall, and if we have excess supply, Y should rise to ensure that the commodity market returns to equilibrium. So that means below the IS curve means this.
Sir, I did not understand. So,
Okay.
for excess demand, why should Y fall?
Yes, sir. Same question.
Sorry, excess. Sorry, আমার লেখাটা ভুল হয়েছে. It should be Y should rise, and this should be Y should fall. So if we have excess demand in the commodity market, then Y should rise. আমি এটা correct করে দিয়েছি. This is also excess demand in the commodity market. So Y should rise. This is excess supply in C. So Y should fall. This is also above the IS curve. আচ্ছা, excess demand হলে Y should rise in response. And here Y should fall. ঠিক আছে এবার? So now you can see that there are 4 zones. Here you have excess supply in the money market and excess supply in the commodity market. Here again you have excess demand in both the markets. But here you have excess supply in the money market, excess demand in the commodity market. And here is the opposite. Excess supply in commodity, excess demand in money market. But whichever point we are, if you look at it carefully, see what will happen? The rate of interest will fall. So we are
I will
moving down.
increase.
Income will increase. So we are going to the LM curve and IS curve. Over here, what will happen? Y will fall. So that means this rate of interest, that is also falling, right? Here, both of them are increasing. So you'll regain equilibrium in the commodity market. You'll regain equilibrium in the bond market. Over here, rate of interest is rising. Commodity market, Y is falling. Okay. So the vertical arrow is shows the change in rate of interest, and the horizontal arrow shows the change in Y. Okay, I'm just writing this for one. So that means even if we are off the ISLM curves, the mechanism will always result such that we come back to equilibrium. Okay, so these ISLM models will be stable as long as you have the IS curve as negative and LM curve as positive. So there are two things. Equilibrium will occur at the intersection of IS and LM curves, and if we are off the curves, Acha, tell me one thing. Suppose we are on the IS curve, but over here, a point like this. Is the economic system in equilibrium?
No, sir, only excess supply of money.
Okay. So if we are on a particular curve, just on one curve, we have equilibrium in only one market. And the other market or maybe markets will be in disequilibrium. So at this point, can you tell me how many markets are in disequilibrium? If you're on the IS curve,
Two.
Money and bonds market.
money and bonds market. So do we have excess supply in money market? We have excess supply in money market.
Yes, sir.
So in bond market,
Excess demand.
and if we are over here,
So there is excess demand in money market,
yes, and excess supply in the bond market.
bonds market.
Over here on the LM curve,
So excess demand in goods market.
yeah, and in the bond market,
Is an equilibrium.
we are equilibrium.
Yes.
Okay. So if we are on one curve only, we have equilibrium in that market and disequilibrium in the other market or markets. And if you're off both the curves, we are at disequilibrium in all the three markets. But the good thing is, however, the system is stable and we will return to equilibrium. Okay. So whichever point we go to, we are going to come back to equilibrium.
So can you show the last slide once? Thank you.
Okay. Now, let us try to introduce different types of policies and see how the ISLM curve will change. So this is the curves Let us suppose that we are changing the money supply. So we are going on an expansionary spree. Money supply will be increased. So which market will be affected? IS or LM?
LM market.
So could you
LM
repeat
market.
the question once?
Yeah, the question is that we are increasing money supply. So which of the two curves will be affected?
Yes,
And
sir.
obviously the answer is the
LM curve.
LM curve will be affected. Okay. So if there's an increase in money supply, if there's an increase in money supply, you can see that what is happening is for the same level of income, your rate of interest is going to go down. So that means for the same Y, this will be the new LM curve. So this is the IS curve. This is LM and this is M2. So we are modeling a change in money supply. So if money supply goes up, then for the same level of Y, R must fall. Okay, so that implies the new LM curve must be below the old LM curve. There must be a downward shift. Okay, and you can see as a result of this change, see, we are below the LM curve. So go back to the slide. So what is the position over here? We are below the LM curve. No, sorry. We are at this point, right? So we are on the IS curve. So if we are on the IS curve, the commodity market is in equilibrium, but we are above the LM curve. This is the new LM curve. We are above this curve. So we are above the LM curve. So what will happen to rate of interest? We are at a point like this. So that means the rate of interest must go down. So what will happen is the rate of interest will go down like this. Okay. So now we are at equilibrium in the money market, right? But are we at equilibrium in the commodity market?
No, sir.
Acha. Where are we? Excess demand or excess supply?
Excess demand.
We are at this point. So we have excess demand and Y must go up. So what will happen is we are coming down like this. At the same time, the rate of interest is going down, but at the same time, the income level will also start increasing. And so we will come over here. So we are going to shift from E1 to So the expansionary money supply results in a situation when income goes up, raises in income and decreases R. So what is the mechanism? Let's go through the mechanism again. So once there's an increase in money supply, we have excess supply of money, right? Excess supply of money means we will want to invest in bonds. So excess demand for bonds, bond demand goes up, and there's excess demand for bond. So price of bonds will rise, which implies that R will fall, right? Now, as R is falling, so while this was occurring, Y is constant because this is a matter of money demand. But as soon as R starts to fall, we are now off the IS curve. And if we look at this, so we are moving from here, we are moving down, and we have excess demand in the commodity market. Okay, so once we have excess demand in the commodity market, supply, which is Y, must rise. So this part. So rate of interest is falling and Y is going up. And through some minor adjustment, and maybe we'll come here, then we are going to come here, but ultimately we are going to come to reach E2 when the rate of interest has gone down and income has increased. Okay, is this clear? Any questions about this? Okay. Now, remember one thing that we have, what I've drawn is the normal portion of the ISLM curves. Okay. Now, remember that the IS curve, sorry, the LM curve is like this. Okay. So let's assume that we are at this portion of the LM curve. So this is the LM curve. So this is the LM curve. Okay. So this is the Keynesian section of the LM curve. The so-called what he calls the liquidity trap. So remember that this is R mean. Rate of interest cannot fall below R mean. Okay, so let's see how the LM curve will change in the liquidity portion. So this is the liquidity trap, and these are the money supply. Right? So this is R, this is M. So money supply increases. Sorry. আমার একটু আঁকাটা ভুল হয়ে গেছে, হ্যাঁ, ওটা এইভাবে গিয়ে এরকম হবে। Okay, I'll try to wipe it out. Okay, so yeah, so this is the liquidity trap. So what is happening over here? The rate of interest cannot fall below the minimum rate of interest. Okay. So if the money supply goes up, you're going to have, suppose this LM curve has been drawn for Y1. Okay. So that means the rate of interest will always remain RM, right? And you're keeping Y1 constant. So what will happen over here is your rate of interest will not fall over here. Okay. So if you draw a different LM curve, liquidity preference curve also, it will again be like this. Here the slope will be different, but it's going to go on like this. But as you can see, what we are interested right now is on money supply. And you can see that if money supply goes up, rate of interest, which was falling previously, will not fall. So the LM curve will be shaped like this. And if the money supply changes, this is the original LM curve. What will happen if there's a increase in money supply? This part will not change. You have seen over here that the money supply will shift the curve rightwards. So what will happen is, right, this will be the new LM curve. But in the liquidity portion, the LM curve does not change. Here it is same. So now can you tell me what is the new equilibrium? The equilibrium is going to remain at E, and your equilibrium income is going to remain at Y1. So if you're at a liquidity trap, the LM curve is horizontal, expansionary money policy will not lead to any change. Y and R will be constant, whatever the money supply. Right. So if we are at this position and we want to increase money supply, should we do so? Or let me rephrase the question. How effective is money supply if the economy is on the liquidity trap?
It is not effective.
And the answer is not effective. So we'll do the mathematics later on, but what is important over here is that Keynes believed that during the depression, we are at the liquidity trap or somewhere near it. So in such situations, monetary supply will not help you. It will simply lead to an unchanged situation. Okay. Now, let us go to the other extreme. If we have the liquidity trap, we also have what we call the classical portion. In terms of the money demand function, sorry, this was the money demand function. For convenience, I'm looking, sorry, it has over here. And now let us bring in the, sorry, let us bring in the money supply. So this is the money supply, and well, I mean, we can't really model the change over here. So what is happening over here is that you can have any rate of interest prevailing. Okay. So obviously the LM curve will be like this. Okay. Let's draw the IS curve now. It has to pass through this. So if money supply goes up, you're going to shift outwards, right? So this is the LM curve. So this is the IS curve. This is L1. This is M1. This is M2. Okay. Now, one thing, actually, it's not very clear. সরি, এখানটা না আমার একটু ভুল হয়েছে। How will I draw this? Okay. So if the money supply, here also we can see in the liquidity trap, in the liquidity trap, the money supply was not effective. Here we can see that the monetary supply is effective. Rate of interest is going down, income is increasing. Okay. But you will see that over here, the IS fiscal policy, the opposite of monetary policy, that will become completely ineffective over here. Sorry. But in this case, only the fiscal policy will work. Over here, if you have the normal portions of the ISLM curves, both monetary policy and fiscal policy will work. In the liquidity trap, as you can see, monetary policy is completely ineffective. We will see later on that over here, the fiscal policy is the only policy that will work. And in this case, we have shown that monetary policy will work. We will show subsequently that the fiscal policy will be completely ineffective in the so-called classical zone. Okay. Now let's go for the mathematical part. See, what is the IS curves equation? Savings is equal to IR plus G. Now for convenience, you'll see why. Let us write this as
The taxes.
না ট্যাক্সটাকে আমি ধরছি না। ওকে, SY minus IR। আচ্ছা, মানি সাপ্লাই M by P। ঠিক আছে, এটাকে we are not changing this। ওকে, আচ্ছা। Now suppose M changes। Okay, this will be S prime dy dm minus I prime dr dm আর dg dm টা কি হবে? 0, g is constant। আচ্ছা, this will be k and L prime dr dm। এটাকে suppose we are considering this, so we can write this as 1। ঠিক আছে, এটাকে if you এটাকে তুমি যদি m বলে লেখো, ঠিক আছে, let's simplify this। আচ্ছা, so if you write this in matrix form, this will be, let us say, S prime small k this is I prime, sorry এটা প্লাস হয়ে যাবে, সরি এগুলো পার্শিয়াল ডেরিভেটিভ হবে, হ্যাঁ আমি একটু ভুল লিখেছি। Okay, now if you want to solve for dy, sorry this will all be del actually, না ঠিক আছে এটা সরি এটা d হবে, this is del, okay so dy by dm, this is, এখানে তোমার এই ডিটারমিনেন্টটা হবে here also, সরি এটা তো dy dm হচ্ছে, সরি এটা আমার ভুল হয়ে গেল। So by Cramer's rule, dy dm যদি বার করতে চাই, I have to replace this by 0 and 1, and this will be I prime L prime, তাহলে এটা কত হচ্ছে, এটা তো হয়ে গেল, this will be, এখানে একটা মাইনাস আছে but again a minus will come in, this is S prime L prime, এটা প্লাস হয়ে যাবে I prime into কি, so let's make it 1, S prime, আচ্ছা কিটা তো পজিটিভ আর 1টাও পজিটিভ হচ্ছে, what is S prime, is it positive or negative, it is positive, I prime is negative আর L prime negative, so negative negative cancels out, so what is the sign, this will be greater than 0, so dy by dm is positive, so an increase in money supply will lead to an increase in y, a decrease in money supply will lead to a reduction in y. Can you tell me how to find out the rate of interest, what is dr by dm?
স্যার এস এস প্রাইম থাকবে নিউমারেটরে।
Just S prime,
না না, এস প্রাইম থাকবে নিউমারেটর এবং
ও আচ্ছা সরি
ডিনোমিনেটরে
সরি,
এই পুরো এটা
আচ্ছা S
ডিটারমিনেন্ট।
prime হবে কি 0 1, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে S prime, আর ডিনোমিনেটর কি হবে,
এই ডিটারমিনেন্ট অফ এটা মানে এস প্রাইম এল প্রাইম
একই,
প্লাস
এটা একই
আই
থাকবে,
প্রাইম কে। হ্যাঁ
এইটা তো সবসময় তোমার A ম্যাট্রিক্সটা হচ্ছে না, ax equal
সেটাই।
to b,
হ্যাঁ
তাহলে এটা কত হচ্ছে S prime
এস প্রাইম এল প্রাইম প্লাস
L
আই প্রাইম কে।
prime I prime, দাঁড়া একটু আস্তে আস্তে, আচ্ছা তাহলে এটা 1 by L prime তাহলে এটা কত হচ্ছে, দিস ইজ নেগেটিভ, এইটা কি হচ্ছে, এটা তো নেগেটিভ, সো dr by dm is negative, যেটা আমরা what we got graphically, right?
স্যার আমার এখানে ইকুয়েশন গুলো নিয়ে একটু অসুবিধা হলো।
কি
এই এই ওপরে যে ইকুয়েশনটা ওপরে লেফটে কে ওয়াই প্লাস এল আর আছে,
হুম।
তারপরে অর করে যখন লেখা হলো তখন ওখানে মাইনাস এল আর হলো।
ও আমি ওটা ভুল লিখেছি, সরি, তুমি দেখো এখানে কি, এখানে আমি কিন্তু আমি ঠিক করে নিয়েছি,
হ্যাঁ ও তাহলে ওটা প্লাসই হবে তো। হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ সরি, এখানে দেখো এটা এল প্রাইমই রয়েছে, আর এখানে যেহেতু p টা কনস্ট্যান্ট, মানে
হ্যাঁ,
if
তাই
you
জন্য
want you
পিটাই
can
বার
make
করা
it
হয়।
1 by p,
হুম হুম
হ্যাঁ, তাহলে
হুম
একটু কমপ্লিকেটেড হয়ে যাবে এই আর কি।
হুম।
আচ্ছা, now one thing is I need this part dr by dm, আর এটা আমার একটু লাগবে। তো সরি, এটা হচ্ছে কি এস এস এল আই কি, এস এল আই কি। এস এল আই কি, এটা মাইনাস ছিল না প্লাস ছিল গো? মাইনাস ছিল না?
So plus.
হ্যাঁ, ওকে। আচ্ছা, দিস ওয়াজ আই থিঙ্ক এস প্রাইম, আর এইটা কত ছিল?
আই প্রাইম।
I prime.
ওকে। Now let us look into the classical portion. So the classical portion is when the LR curve is like this, rate of interest. So you can have any rate of interest. Mm, If your interest is changing, then the demand is not changing. So the classical portion means L prime is equal to 0. Yes. So what is dy by dm? This will be এটাকে তো আইটাকে নিয়ে আসি, this will be 0. Okay, so we simply have 1 by t. I prime টা নিয়ে এলে এটা হয়ে যাচ্ছে। So this is positive. আচ্ছা, কিন্তু এইখানে আগেরটাতে আমার কি ছিল? In the normal case it was, sorry, s prime, l prime, I prime, this was t. So you are adding something over in the denominator. So that means this term is being removed over here. Denominator, what is happening to the denominator? See, both are negative. So this is a positive term, right? So you're removing a positive term. You're reducing the value of the denominator. So which dydm is positive in both the cases. But in which case is the multiplier more effective? In this case, right? Since s prime, this will be I prime, which is a positive term, is removed from the denominator, the denominator falls, okay, and so dy dm will be larger. So in the classical portion, monetary policy becomes more effective than in the normal case. তোমার যে এই এরকম পোর্শন, সেইখানে মনিটারি পলিসি যতটা এফেক্টিভ হবে, ক্লাসিক্যাল পোর্শনে কিন্তু ইট উইল বি ইভেন more effective. So let us say you increase money supply by 10 or by X units, the increase in Y will be larger in the classical portion. What will happen to the R portion, rate of interest? dr by dm is equal to, দেখো এখানটা 1 চলে এলো, এইটা তো তোমার 0 হয়ে গেল। So you simply have I prime, S prime and K. ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, which is negative. আচ্ছা, এইখানে আগে কি ছিল? It was L prime. L prime is negative. ঠিক আছে? তার মানে ধরো এরকম একটা সিচুয়েশন ছিল, ধরো -2 আর -7, আর এখন হয়ে যাচ্ছে কি, I'm dividing it by just -7. So in absolute terms, in which case is the fall greater? In this part?
Second case, yeah.
Second case. So in the classical portion, so the effects of the monetary policy is more pronounced in the classical zone. Okay, so it will work in both the normal portion and in the classical portion, but in the classical portion the impact on Y and R becomes more pronounced.
Sir, can you explain the example that you gave with -2 and -7?
Yeah, but just let me copy this, please. So this is in the classical portion, and in the normal case, what is it? It is S prime নিয়ে এলে, so this will be L prime plus I prime S prime K. ঠিক আছে? So this is the additional portion, right? So let us say this value is, this is suppose 7. So I'm keeping it -7. It's minus, I prime is minus, S prime is, and K are both plus. Okay. So the second term is minus in both cases. এখানে first termটা 0, এখানে আমি L prime নিয়ে আসি, which is also minus. So it's something like -2 -7, and here it is only -7. So which is larger? এটি একই, this is simple algebra, আর কিছু না।
Second one.
হ্যাঁ,
The
সেটাই।
1/7.
হ্যাঁ। Remember, we are looking at the absolute value. Okay, now let's go to the other extreme, the Keynesian case. If we go to the Keynesian case, the Keynesian liquidity trap, this is infinite. Okay, so look at this term. This is infinite, so it's going to become 0. In fact, dr/dm for the same reason is going to become 0. Okay, so these are applications of Cramer's rule. This part I can ask even in the Math Eco course. So we have brought together Math Eco and macro over here. Be a bit careful. So is there any questions or doubts? Right? Okay. Now, let us consider fiscal policy. Sorry, just 1 minute, please. Hello. Yes. Please call after 10 minutes. I'm in a class right now. But registration has closed. We have closed the window. Yeah. So fiscal policy, suppose G increases. Okay, so now try to work it out yourself. If G changes, will the LM curve change? Where is the impact of G? On the IS curve or on the LM curve? IS curve. So then the question is, how will G lead to an increase in G? Again, we have an expansionary policy. How will an increase in G shift the IS curve? What is the, graphically, what is the, and intuitively, how does the equilibrium change? And lastly, the mathematical part, Cramer's rule. Okay, and there was a presentation. I forgot the presentation, but I mean, we can please shift it to. I'll request them to have it on next day.
Okay, sir,
Acha.
sure.
Acha. Next thing is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have a workshop in the evening. So I think MD ma'am has already told you. So we won't be able to take classes on all 3 days. So I had a look at your routine. I think Monday you have a vacant period from 9:30 to 11. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would request you to, I don't want to cut out too many classes or hurry. I mean, just bear with me on Monday. So we just remind me when I'm starting about the presentation, and after that, who will present on the IS curve, the impact of G.